It is now time, Patrick, for our number one horror film of the year. I don't know your answer, but I have a feeling it's the same film for me. I'm just going to go ahead and just, spurt it out there for my number one film. I have to imagine it's yours as well. I'll give you the floor. The best horror film of 2023 is.
The Exorcist Believer. No, I'm kidding. The
You just
best.
ruined my day. What are you doing to me, Patrick?
No,
What
I'm
are you
fucking with
doing?
you. The best movie the best horror movie of 2023, without a doubt. And I don't even know if Damon, if I'm wrong, then I clearly don't know you. The best movie of 2023 for Damon and myself is Talk to Me. The Philippou brothers out of Australia, a couple of knucklehead YouTubers, made the best horror movie by far of the entire year. Damon, I got to see this way back at South by Southwest. I know that keeps coming up, but it's important. I didn't know what Talk to Me was back in March. I had no idea. I hadn't even heard of it. I hadn't heard rumblings of it or anything. Me and my buddy were just like trying to get into some other horror movies, which, by the way, were very talked about this year and sort of faded away. They didn't end up making the buzz that they thought. And there was this Talk to Me movie, and we go, oh, let's check it out. And this is after we'd seen Evil Dead Rise, which was, of course, the darling of the festival. It was a big, big movie, big Hollywood movie playing at South by. We sat down for Talk to Me, and it just keeps going. It just keeps reinventing the possession genre. It just keeps reinventing what horror can be. And the lights come up, and my friend looks over to me. Again, this was the Evil Dead fan, the number one Evil Dead fan, and goes, I think it's the best movie here. I think it's without a doubt the best movie here. And I go, there's no question. This is the best movie, the best horror movie you could see all year long. I think when we did our review of it, which was actually a two-part review, because we did a pre-spoiler and post-spoiler review because we got to see it ahead of its actual release, you and I. It was one of two movies you and I got to watch together this year. This movie is like Euphoria, the horror movie. And you and I both like Euphoria, the TV show, but it's like you're watching Gen Zers go through horror. So now you and I are, and I said this in our podcast, we're watching the next generation of horror storytellers come out, and that's really exciting. Me as the old fart is excited to see what the new generation can show us for horror. And Talk to Me showed us that you ain't seen nothing yet.
Talk to Me was, in my opinion, the most original horror film of the year. It took a totally different um, direction at a possession film and turned it on its head. You and I talked about this when we did the review, that a big staple of possession films is religion. And I get it because it's always a demon or a devil possessing. I get it. Whether you're religious or not, that's a big part of it. And you know what? It works in Evil Dead Rise too. I mean, that's a possession where it's an evil spirit inhabiting a body. We get it. Like, that's what possession is. That's what when evil lurks is. Like, they don't really hammer you over the head with religion, but there's still a religious aspect to it, even though that's also a really original take on possession.
Yeah.
Talk to Me does none of that. They're not talking about you being possessed and you need an exorcist or the power of Christ compelling you or any of that. The performances are great, but the originality is what really blew me away in this film. And that's also, going back to last year, one of the reasons I enjoyed Fresh so much, a film that's on Hulu, was it was a little bit comedy, a lot of horror, but something I had never seen before. Something totally different, in my opinion. That's what this film was to me. And you can see, if you can see it right over my shoulder, if you're watching this on YouTube, I have the Talk to Me hand. That should tell you how much I love this movie. When I saw it in July at San Diego Comic-Con, we were in the top row of a theater watching this movie, and we had one of the Philippou brothers, Michael Philippou, sitting 2 seats down from us, which is a bit of a nerve-wracking experience because you're like, I really hope I like this movie, and I'm not snoring or halfway through the movie. This movie. Like, if David Gordon Green was over there, he would have walked over and punched me. That's like, I know that's what happened in his movies. So it's a little nerve-wracking. We watched it, and I was like, damn. That was a really fun original film. And then when it came, then like 2 weeks later, we were reviewing it again. I saw it in the theater. I went to paid my money to go see it in the theater, support it, watched it again. And then it came out on 4K in October, and I watched it again. Not only does it hold up, this is a film that will end up becoming a comfort movie for me. I will watch this movie over and over and over and over, and I will recite this movie. I will enjoy this movie. Here's how much I enjoyed Talk to Me. You're going to laugh at this one, Patrick. Here's how much I enjoyed Talk to Me. There's a scene early in this film where Mia, the lead character played by Sophie Wilde, is driving with Riley, her best friend's little brother. She goes and picks him up, and she's driving back. And they're screaming a song together in the car, almost like carpool karaoke. And I was like, that's a really catchy song. I didn't know what it was. Now, come to find out, it was a really hugely popular song by
It's a massive pop hit.
by an artist named Sia, and the song's called Chandelier. Now, she's from Australia. They're Australian, the filmmakers, Philippi Brothers. I'm a metalhead by all accounts. I'm not saying I don't listen to other music, but by and large, I'm a metalhead. Chances are, if you're going to see me at a Meshuggah concert or In Flames or Motionless in White or Bad Omens, one of my favorite bands, or that, I'm a metalhead, okay? I don't always get outside to hear other stuff. So I had never heard this song Chandelier. It got so infectious in my head, and I had it on replay so much that it actually ended up being one of my top songs on Spotify. Because I listened to it, I was like, this is such a catchy tune. And my girlfriend mocked me relentlessly. She's like, you never heard of Chandelier? I'm like, no.
It's a massive hit.
I had no idea what this was. And so it ended up being like my top 20 songs on Spotify this year because I'd never heard it, and I listened to it a bunch because it's in Talk to Me. It's such a catchy tune in Talk to Me. This film is a home run on every single level. It is well acted. It is well written. It is wholly original. It goes hard. And I said at the time we did interview the filmmakers on this podcast, just to be clear and open about it.
And they did not pay us. Nobody paid us to talk about this movie.
Not at all. We actually were like, oh shit, we better, we were like, oh man, I hope this ends up being like a movie we can talk about positively because we're going to have these guys on the show. Ended up, we loved it. But this is a film that made me immediately not only fans of this film, made me a fan of the filmmakers, the Philippi Brothers. I'm like, I'll see anything they do next. Mm-hmm. There is going to be a sequel called Talk to Me, which I love. That was a suggestion actually passed out at San Diego Comic-Con. We were in the panel with the Philippi Brothers, and someone on the microphone was like, I have a title for your film. How about Talk to the number 2, Me? And they're like, oh shit. Then they announced it, and that's actually going to be the title, Talk to Me. This film was great. It just everything. It was dramatic. It was well acted. It was original. Great script. Great performances. Great execution. From top to bottom, this was an A+ film.